Here we go, folks. Let's see what we've got. Looks like we got a nice Christmas tree with a red rupee in the stocking. So we're going to start this off with some Christmas cash.
I love this overworld music. Makes you want to go watch a Charlie Brown Christmas.
It also makes you kind of forget about the annoying ice physics. It's like, God, this sucks, but oh, the music is so good.
All right, so to start out with, from Brewers Fan, we did see that Eastern Palace is a crystal. I didn't get a chance to see what Desert or Tower of Hera was. Did you?
I didn't get a chance either. My old man eyes can't quite keep up with it. Looks like we are going to get a pull. And what were those items? Let's talk about old man eyes. I can't see.
Yeah, it looked like it was small magic decanters.
Actually, not a bad find, especially if they find a magic required item soon. Looks like Uncle just has some cash for us. Inheritance, if you will. And Hacksaw finding the bombs in the Uncle chest. Very good early find, because that's going to allow you to not have to make a pit stop for bombs along the way. So you can check bottom of the well, you can check Blind's house, you can check all that cool stuff.
Yeah, really good find early on. That way, should you not find any more bombs along the way, you can always go and visit the bomb shop on your way down to the race game. And we did see that in the sanctuary here, there was just 20 more rupees, so not much early on.
So far, not a. We have a little divergence in route, it looks like. Although Smashy looks like he may be following the same course. They're going to make a sweep through the Lost Woods. Pretty standard opening maneuver for these guys. Oh, and that bush crab giving Hacksaw a little bit of a fit.
All right, and bush crab just giving hearts today.
'Tis the season, he's giving nothing but love.
And in our first gift, didn't quite get a chance to see what that was.
Bombs?
Yeah, it looks like it was just bombs.
To double check that on the restream. And yes, those were in fact bombs.
And just a 5 rupee pickup from the bottom of the hole there, the thieves hut hole, whatever you want to call it.
Now, bear in mind, these freestanding items, we're not going to be able to see them until our runners actually pick them up because, in true holiday fashion, they have been wrapped up as presents. So it'll be a great big surprise every time we want to find out what it is.
Indeed, and we are going to be seeing our first check into Blind Set here. And here in Blind Set from Smashy, we are going to find... There's more bombs there. Piece of heart. Looks like 50 rupees and blue mail. All right. Getting a little tanky here.
Always good to find that blue suit early because doubling your effective health pool means you're going to survive a lot more hits that way. So definitely a good item to find early on.
Yeah, and there was just an air upgrade in the back there, so on to the next location.
So far, everybody pretty well staying in lockstep. Everybody's checking pretty much the same areas. Smashy going to check out the bottom of the well. Let's see what we can find down here.
Just 20 rupees so far. Got the
hammer!
All right, so we can smash things now, and a lamp. And just a whole bunch more rupees, so a couple really good items starting out now.
Really good because now you're not going to have trouble with dark rooms. You know, if you're a little uncomfortable with them, well, your fears can be put to rest. Also, good finding that hammer early on because even though the hitbox is a little bit wonky, that thing does do tempered sword damage. So very handy to have early on. Also, one of the items you need to really open up the dark world.
Yeah, that is one of 3 potential items we need for that Dark World access, so...
Smashy going in, and then he's get the boomerang from the chicken house, the better of the 2 boomerangs.
And of course, and hacksaww not far behind him, going to pick that up as well.
Boy, we are finding a lot of money to start the seed off, so at least we're not going to have to worry about Zora. I'm not going to have to worry about a lot of our vendors. Kind of nice to have that money early on. Also means you don't really have to worry about the Houlihan room.
That's right. Now, this is a little bit more difficult to set up this time around, but yeah, you don't have to worry about that. So, Smashy's going to give us our first look, I believe, here at our race game.
Opting not to check it out at first, going to go ahead and make the gamble. Let's see if it pays off. Hopefully he's got his ice physics down to a science, because he's going to need it.
See, this is a little bit tricky here. It's hard to make it around these corners.
Then again, it's because it's wrapped up, you never would know what it is. Is that silver arrows?
I couldn't make it out. Let me see here. That looks like it was silver arrows, yes. Oh, no, arrow upgrade. Never mind. Never mind. I apologize.
Chad, you're going to have to help us out. Just a couple of old farts here trying to see things. I don't have my specs.
Need my bifocals.
Smashy going to give us a peek at what's in the dam. Now, another thing to mention on the overworld, the ice, or the water, is actually frozen. So you can actually walk across it.
Alright, so we actually do get to see our first route divergence here. While Smashy is going to check the dam, we have Hacksaw making good use of that hammer, immediately going to check the first section of escape. So
I do like this play by Hacksaw because he can full clear all of escape right now. He's got a very good weapon. He doesn't have to worry about ammunition. He'll be able to check all of the chests in escape, even though he doesn't have the power gloves. Minor correction, though. That's assuming he finds a key along the way.
And Smashy is also now going to be heading into the mini Moldorm cave. While we looks like the other 3 runners, Magnon, Hacksaw, as well as BrewersFan, all deciding to take that hammer right into the escape route.
And we have a glove upgrade, so yes, even if you have to save and quit and go back in from the other end, you can check all of escape. Also, another piece of the puzzle you'll need to get into the Dark World.
Indeed. Man, that mini Moldorm giving Smashy the business right now.
Well, your name is Smashy. There you go. Take that hammer over there and show that mini Moldorm who's boss. Don't take none of that.
Really careful. He's got a half a heart left, and that one hit from there we go.
And 8 bombs for his trouble. And yes, probably not the only Smashy and Hammer reference we'll be making tonight, so get ready for them, folks.
And looks like this is just bomb cave. There's a couple bomb drops, a bomb upgrade. So we're getting a little bit more new information here from Hacksaw, about ready to head into the back portion of Escape. See what this chest holds. Now, if this does hold a key, we will be able to continue on through the rest of Escape and check the back portion. If not, we'll have to save and quit and drop in from the Sanctuary area.
Now, it looks like Smashy doing the fake flipper trick.
Haha, but you don't need fake flippers now. Everything is frozen.
Fake ice skates, something like that. I don't know.
Now, one thing to note is the logic still is the same, you know, as the standard non-festival version. So it would take into effect, you know, if that powder that Smashy just got leads to an item, that's technically locked behind flippers, even though you don't need flippers to get there in the festival version.
Absolutely, but if you find something like Mire or something like that that really, helps speed you up, or the flute can be very good to find, especially making, that a particularly powerful sequence break.
And we just get the information here. There was nothing really in the back portion of Escape. So Hacksaw is about to go and so he's going to be heading to the Waterfall of Wishing and up to Zora with that massive amount of rupees that he has.
Waterfall Cave can be routed in with Zora here, so yes, very good, solid checking. Go ahead and route these together, and you got plenty of money to pay the fish. Smashy, meanwhile, is going to check the deep freezer.
And that was just 10 arrows, so still looking for that one more item, that Moon Pearl, to get us into Dark World here.
Looks like Hacksaw is going to give us our first glimpse at what the fish has for sale today. Magnon routing south down towards the dam.
And just life lesson today, 20 rupees. Meanwhile, we will be able to see what is on the ledge here. This is a check that we will likely be seeing everybody make, considering you can't really see what it is, so you got to come over here and pick it up. It's 20 more rupees, so all this game's given us is money so far.
I think that's one UPS box they'd have been happy to leave behind. And you make a very interesting point that because they can't just skip over them, our runners are going to have to route in a lot more stops, especially if they get to a point where they're missing one or two things. You don't want to skip those boxes because what if it's something important? What if it's, second set of gloves? What if it's your Moon Pearl? And JTN, because it was a brown box. Must be UPS.
I just gotta say again, I really love what they did with this festival, this festive mode. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get a chance to play one of these before they get rid of them.
Yeah, it may have already went and downloaded like 100 seeds today, but yeah.
Maybe, possibly, perhaps.
All right, Magnon having a little bit less trouble than our previous runner in that mini Moldorm cave, but just gonna find some bombs. So
now, something interesting to note. Our runners have pretty well checked all the same locations, so they're kind of weaving back together. Nobody has made the trip up to Eastern yet.
that's probably what we're going to be seeing next from Smashy. I mean, this is like one of the only other locations he can check right now, and that is powdering the the powder in the Bat Cave here. So, then once again, if this leads to something, then this item is effectively Flipper's locked. So the next key to our progression is likely going to be over in Eastern Palace, unless Eastern Palace does have those flippers. So a couple options here.
Let's see, and Batman has for us...
That's a second glove. So that was our second glove that we've been able to see so far, so we know where both of them are.
Well, and good thing too, because true, that'll be flippers locked at some point, but this just opens up a lot more options for you. Now you can quickly get to the Dark World once you find that Moon Pearl. You don't have to go around, hammer down the pegs. If you want to go to Kakariko, you can actually just lift up the heavy stone and go straight in. Oh, and Hacksaw taking a death. That is very unfortunate.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sahasra the Hut just has some hearts, so Brewers fan likely going to go check Eastern Palace. It's likely where we'll be seeing our next piece of the progression here.
And looks like Hacksaw is going to forgo the Ice Rod Cave and just head straight over to Sahasrara and Eastern Palace. Will end up paying off for him because there really wasn't much to be found in the fridge. And to answer your question, chat, to Valton Zanola, it essentially is. However, your logic for flippers still exists. So let's say that you find the mirror at Hobo. Anything that you would find behind the mirror is going to be logically locked by flippers. Even though you don't, strictly speaking, need the flippers to get to the Hobo.
Alright, so we do have Brewers fan in Eastern Palace so far. Didn't quite see what that first item was.
I'll catch it on the restream here in just a second. Looks like it was just a compass. Something else to note, and a lot of people don't think about this necessarily, but with Smashy having powder, when he runs into these dungeons, he's going to have a nice extra safety source, especially in the later dungeons that tend to have a lot of anti-fairies.
Indeed, it actually looks like Smashy had enough Death Mountain already.
This is a very interesting play because he does not have the hook shot and he does not have the mirror. He's going to have to be banking on Old Man having something. Or, we have seen it where the mirror is actually inside Spectacle Rock, which thereby opens up the tower to get to Tower of Hera.
And just the big key here is our second item in Eastern Palace here. Excuse me, our third location checked. I apologize.
The flippers were indeed in the Eastern Palace, and the Moon Pearl in the big chest. So yes,
Wow.
we are getting progression. Lots of progression here in EP.
And that is our Dark World access. We can go to the Dark World now. You can go into Thieves Town, Skull Woods, get those two great locations under your belt.
Also, don't forget, if they go to check Bat, they actually can check the right side of Death Mountain by, they can check the right side of Dark Death Mountain by way of going in through the Turtle Rock portal.
And the old man, I believe, had the bow. So that was a really great find for Smashy, and not coming over to Eastern Palace really paid off.
Oh, and Smashy now is going to be able to completely finish off Eastern Palace. Whereas the rest of our runners are going to have to double dip or try to route Eastern Palace in when they do their pod visit. Which we don't even know exactly what pod is yet. So, I mean, if it's a crystal, then yes, we'll probably see them route everything back together. If we don't, well, then they'll just have to try to find some other way to route them together.
And everybody, get your hype ready, Brewers fan. Ready to go over to the hype cave, so let's get hype in chat now.
All eyes on Brewers fan. We're going to see what we find here. Looks like bombs and part of a heart. Okay, $20 and a quiver. And man, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give that a -3.
I think that's a little generous. I was going to give it a -10. It's like the opposite of what you want to find there. All right, so we see blue is Misery Mire. And looks like green was Thieves Town.
Okay, so with Pod indeed being a crystal at this point, then yeah, our runners that don't have the bow can indeed route those two together once they find the mirror. Of course, that's an assumption. We may not find the mirror for quite some time.
And BrewersFan about ready to show us what Stumpy has here.
I'm gonna laugh if he has the mirror, which he doesn't. I'm really not sure what he had. I couldn't see.
And it's also going to give us a check here at the digging game. That'll likely be where their journey ends here.
Thank you, chat. 10 arrows on Stumpy. Now let's find out how many digs it's going to take. Make a guess between 1 and 30.
I'm going to say 15. Right in the
say
middle.
20. Don't forget you got the ice physics adding an extra level of difficulty, at least if you want to try to, you know... Oh, there's a box, and there's a bulk coin. That might have been a very good find.
So that's one of our 3 medallions. It could potentially be the only medallion that we need.
Absolutely right. Bear in mind, the ice physics making the digging game a little more challenging if you like to draw fancy things with your dig holes.
All right, let's see where Magnon decides to go from here.
Well, let's see. He's cleaned out Eastern Palace to the best of his ability. He hasn't gone up Death Mountain yet. That's probably where he's going to head now, and he's going to be very happy when he finds that bow.
Looks like he actually may be going straight for the Dark World here.
Interesting, but again, can't really say as I blame him because just from a top-down perspective, he doesn't have that many options available on Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's 2 locations that you can check immediately unless you find, that other piece of the puzzle up there, which at this point would be either the hookshot or the mirror. So being able to, check these other locations. Actually, he's going to check out the Bat Cave, so he's going to get his Titan's mitts here. I'm kind of curious. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, all you, man.
I was going to say, I'm kind of curious to see when Smashy is going to decide to go into the first portion of Escape. I mean, he still doesn't have his Titan's mitts, so...
That's a very good point. He might be thinking, you know what, I've got everything I need. I can get to the Dark World. Why should I worry about it? But, I mean, who knows? We'll see when he checks it.
This festive music is absolutely wonderful, don't you think?
No, it just puts a smile on my face. Like I said, I know why they put in here is to make you feel better when you're trying to go on ice physics.
All right, so Hacksaw, first one to step into Skull Woods here.
Well, you got to admire that because, Skull Woods, statistically speaking and historically speaking, has always been a very good place to go because you tend to find some really good progression here. Although, what could you be hoping to find in here? Because we know the bow is up with the old man, so what else would you want to find here?
I would like to find either the hammer, the mirror, hookshot, something that can give me access to a few more locations and make it a bit more advantageous to go up Death Mountain.
So far, Hacksaw kind of striking out on what he's finding so far. It's been nothing but keys and dungeon items.
And Meanwhile, Brewers fan picks up their powder. So we'll see if they decide to go and immediately turn that into their Titan's mitts.
Looks like Hacksaw now is going to go check out the secondary room in Skullwood's. Going to have to be very careful with these Gibdos, though. And he also got that stinking Wall Master floating around somewhere, too.
Now, he does have the boomerang. If these Gibdos decide to give him some trouble, that is one item that will stun the Gibdos. So it looks like he's got a good pattern here.
Alright, let's see. And we will get the flute! How about that?
That makes me want to go up Death Mountain. You can knock out the that old man check real quick. Granted, it's only one location, but you can at least get your starting point there for saving and quitting. Yeah.
Oh, and when he finds his mittens, he, in theory, could have access to Misery Mire, but remember, he still has to find his Bolt Coin.
Yeah, he needs that Bolt Coin or whatever the medallion is for there. And he still doesn't have his Titan's mitts. He never went to go get powder at Hobo.
You have to wonder if that's a location he might forget about, because sometimes a lot of people will forget to check that because a lot of people think you need Mirror or Hammer to get to it. They might think it's locked and they just won't come back to it until much later in the game. Also, chat pointing out something. We have yet to find a sword.
Oh. So where do you think the first sword's going to be?
Ganon's Tower.
Oh, geez, don't say that. Send my Aghanim dream would be dead.
Well, you can always, use the cape to get in.
But you need the sword to cut the...
Oh, God, you're right.
Cut the drapes.
Sorry, I'm still in swordless mode from the other day. But if you couldn't do an Agaseed, at least you get to watch a very swordless scene.
Yeah. Alright, and BrewersFanJP about ready to pick up their Titan's mitts here. Meanwhile, Hacksaw finds the Quake medallion.
So 2 of our 3 medallions accounted for. Again, maybe the only ones we need to get into Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. Although remember, Misery Mire is a pendant. It is not strictly speaking required yet. This just in, run validated.
And Hacksaw giving us our first glimpse into Thieves Town. Will we find our first sword here in Thieves Town?
We very well might.
That is a no.
Well, and you gotta like this Thieves Town play, because Thieves Town's one of the few dungeons where you can clear it relatively easily, and you can fully clear it if you have the hammer early. You just have to be very good at dodging blind.
All right, and still nothing in Thieves Town.
Oh, we still have this last 4th chest to worry about here, and just a hot burrito.
Ugh. See, I'm not a huge fan of just having hammer for Thieves Town. I mean, it's doable, but ugh. How evil would it be if Blind had the first sword?
That would be incredibly evil. Although, let's see. Let's take stock again of pendants. Let's see.
Yeah, Thieves Town is the green pendant. So, should they need to full clear this, it wouldn't be a bad idea. It gives them one more location to check. They can go speak to Sahasrahla to see if he has any goodies for us. See if he has our Santa Claus this season.
Well, and looking through here, I don't know that a sword is strictly speaking required. Well, wait a minute though, because Turtle Rock it requires a medallion to open. Yeah, we will need a sword before we can clear Turtle Rock. Although we could not find a sword before Turtle Rock. That's always possible. Could be very late in the game before we find one.
Yeah, we would also need a sword for Skullwoods as well to cut the vines there.
That is a good point. See, this is why I should never run Swordless Seeds, because I forget that stuff.
Alright, so 3 of our 4 runners are in Thieves Town. We're about ready to have all 4 of our runners in Thieves Town. Hopefully that next piece of the puzzle is going to be here.
Well, it doesn't strictly speaking have to be, but again, you got to remember, Thieves Town always comes to mind as a good early play because, again, you don't need a whole lot of heavy weaponry to do it. And with the hammer, they don't have to worry about leaving the big chest behind. They can clear everything.
And Hacksaw getting an 8 bomb drop from one of these grasshoppers, crickets, green thing that crawls on the ground, whatever you want to call it.
Crawls on the ground and does 2 hearts of damage if you're wearing green mail.
Ugh.
Yeah, that thing.
Still have yet to find anything. I believe there's one more item that can be found here.
Let's do a quick shout out to a bass guitar Bill. Thank you very much for the sub. We appreciate the support. It's the support of everybody out here that is enabling us to bring these races to you. So again, thank you very much, sir, for your support of this channel.
And there's our key to access the big chest.
Again, that wonky hitbox on that hammer, it's very off-center, so you have to practice using it a lot. But again, it does tempered sword damage, so something that's very nice to have. Although remember, blind doesn't care.
Well,
hey,
there's an item.
Cane.
There's an item that'll make blind a lot easier. That's the cane of Samaria in the big chest.
You know what? Note to the devs: next year, put some white stripes on the thing, and then it can become the candy cane, dispensing treats for all the good little girls and boys.
Yeah, I love finding the cane here in this dungeon. Makes blind a lot easier. Oh, such a good find.
I have never tried doing this fight with the cane of Samaria. It looks very fun and very smart weapon too.
Yeah, there's a couple ways you can approach this. Some runners will take that and make it so that blind's head hits that block and just use that block as your damage source that way. Some will let it hit the block and then do that projectile where you activate the cane again, and that will deal damage to them a second time. So,
Hacksaw, you need to be very careful here. Oh no, taking the death. That is very unfortunate.
All right, so we see Magnon opting to use the cane of Samaria as well. All right, that's 2 heads down. We've got 1 more to go. There's their first hit. Second hit.
Only 1 more. There we go. Blind goes down with not too much despair. 1 heart remaining on Magnon, getting a pie plate for his troubles.
And that is a green pendant, so that is 1 more location Magnon can go and check for an item.
Hacksaw opting out of going back to Thieves Town. Again, I can't say as I blame him. You know, sometimes if you die to a boss early like that, you know, you don't want to beat your head up against it. You know, come back, let your mind clear a little bit, because, you know, if you keep running into the boss over and over again, it'll lower your confidence and it'll lower your performance generally. So can't say as I blame him wanting to move on and check a few other spots.
Yeah, so meanwhile, BrewersFan actually, unfortunately takes a death there. He was actually using both the hammer and the cane of Samaria. Unfortunately, takes a death there and decides to do the same thing that Hacksaw did, says, I'm getting out of here. It's only a pendant dungeon. Got all the items out of there, so...
So yeah, we'll find out if this is some they should have cleared once we can find out what was on Saha. Could be something really, really good, but again, you never really know. Brewer's actually going to grab Jeremiah. Now, he does not have the mirror, so he's going to have to save and quit and come back to the light world.
Yeah, and Magnon just picked up his ether medallion from the digging game. So there's 2 coins for him, and Smashy taking down Blind. So that is Blind for the top 2 racers here.
Well, and they won't have to worry about coming back. Plus, if there's something required on Sahasrara, then, you know, they've got that part covered. They won't have to worry about coming back and double dipping.
Yep, and Hacksaw deciding to make good use of that flute. Going to go pick up the old man in the cave. He's going to get their bow. We'll see if he decides to go up to the top of Death Mountain to check out Spectacle Rock. So I don't believe Smashy went up there. I believe Smashy may have taken a death to the falling boulders. So
Beware sky cabbages. And to point out something in chat, Crazy Jesse, you were right. Statistically, I agree with you. Leaving Blind right there is a good play. However, bear in mind, it is the green pendant, so it could have something on Sahasrara. We'll just have to wait and see.
all right, so Hacksaw getting their bow here. And we did get to see that the blacksmiths were only holding rupees there. So nothing from them this time around.
And Hacksaw making his way up, probably not going to check Spike Cave, but probably going to give us a look and see what's inside Spectacle Rock. Now, I can't remember. What was in there? Have we seen that yet?
No, we did not. When Smashy was up here earlier, I believe he took a death to the falling boulders, so decided not to come back up here.
Oh, I'm sorry, JTN, not sky cabbages, sky cauliflower.
It looks like it was just an arrow upgrade or some arrows themselves, so not really much there. And Magnon taking the blacksmith on a great world tour here. Gonna go check out the pyramid. I believe this is our first check of the pyramid as well.
Meanwhile, we got BrewersFan going into Skull Woods, just poking around in there, seeing what's what. Looks like Smashy's going to go check out the not very hype cave.
And on the pyramid, we just have some bombs, so still not much going on for these guys. Where do you think their next play is going to be?
Well, let's see here. Can't do Swamp because you don't have the mirror. You know what? Pod actually looks like a pretty good play. I think I would go to Pod.
I was actually just thinking the same thing there. You have everything that you need to access it and complete the dungeon. You have, your light source, so, all the dark rooms are in sequence. Both hammer and bow. No reason not to at this point.
Absolutely. The dungeon is totally unlocked and no blind rooms to worry about. Very high item density. Yeah, I think Pod is a smart play at this point. Looks like Smashy's probably going to be heading that way, unless he gets forked over by the guard.
Yeah, these ice physics make it very difficult to avoid these guards. If they catch you, you're pretty much in a death spiral until you can get to the next screen transition. And
now, I did a horrible job item counting. Did we determine if Armos Knights had something on it?
I believe Smashy already did take care of that, and I don't recall seeing anything important on Armos. But we may see what Pond has to offer from Smashy, unless they're just going to check the Pyramid and Catfish as well. Which, I mean, at this point, like I said, Pod is probably the next logical place to go, just because you have both the hammer and the arrows. So
yeah, I'm sure some of these runners are really feeling the fact that we're 40 minutes in and we still have not seen a sword.
yeah, if I'm one of these runners, I'm a little bit concerned because only 2 of our runners have gotten their first crystal. So that being Hacksaw just now and Smashy, it's almost 45 minutes in and no crystals.
Looks like Brewers is going to give us a peek into Peg Cave and see what's down here. So let's see. We have a suspicious-looking package that has 20 bucks. Somebody not getting their Christmas cash this year. So sorry. Please see the insurance agent at the counter.
Alright, so looks like Hacksaw is heading up to Pod as well as Smashy. It's gonna be really difficult with these ice physics. As we just saw from Smashy there, these little spaghetti monsters are rough.
Not only that, but again, you're trying to aim that hammer while on ice physics. I mean, you just as well might forget about it. I mean, it's tough to do. I'm a little more surprised we're not seeing more boomerang strats. More stun and just get past them.
Yeah, boomerang. Even the bow can take out these enemies pretty easily. And yeah, we do see here from BrewersFan, the lunchbox itself is a gift wrap present. So this is pretty cool.
Being a bro and being Santa Claus. But with the flute, he can get over there pretty quickly.
Yeah, the boomerang can kill Armos. It takes a lot of time and effort, but it can be done.
48 hits a piece, as I remember.
Magnon going into their hammer peg cave. Gonna find their 20 rupees there. Meanwhile, BrewersFan getting ready to turn in the purple gift wrap.
Just a little piece of love to keep you warm on those cold days. Meanwhile, Hacksaw finally picking up everybody's favorite extortionist.
Kiki the monkey. Now we do get to see here, this is our first Misery Mire play. And that was get
in the door?
Was that Bombos or Ether?
I honestly couldn't tell. I have to wait for the restream, but that murdered Dactyl just being a pain in the neck here.
We just find 20 rupees and a piece of heart. So it was indeed Ether, so that is one piece to the puzzle here. Now we are getting to see what is here in Palace of Darkness. First chest containing a key here.
Well, it is Mullet Mansion, remember. Business up front, party in the rear. Now, also, though, we really cannot check too far into Mire because we don't have the hook shot and we don't have boots.
Yep, we can go in there. We can stare at that nice gap at the beginning. Aside from that, nothing. And there's the boots. We have got our first boots in Palace of Darkness. And in Agonist Cave, we just have a heart container, so looks like the next place to go was indeed Palace of Darkness.
Well, this is a speed run, and you know, gotta go fast and all that.
Now, something that's really interesting is even though we have boots, the ice physics don't really allow you to go too much faster in the overworld, so this really will help out mostly in the dungeons.
Absolutely, and also remember, they don't have a sword yet, so you can't really do much dashing, so you just have to be real careful with that.
And Taco Nexus, yes, you were indeed hearing the Charlie Brown music that in all of its glory. And this is just a mean seed. We still have yet to find a sword. So,
A very
definitely not a
grinchy
swordless seed.
seed.
So, for anybody who's just tuning in, who's not really familiar with this festive mode, the overworld has been completely overhauled to this almost like this black and white theme that you're seeing here. And that is for the purposes of to simulate snow, and all the overworld does have ice physics as well.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Magnon just sprinkle powder on the dead rocks to turn them into little squashes?
That is something you can do. Unfortunately, they cannot be. They cannot. You cannot sprinkle powder on them to transform them while they're actually in their rock form. But if they're running around and you're able to sprinkle powder on them, it turns them into that like jelly squash. So.
My God, 25 years later, and you're still learning something new every day.
And just want to take a brief moment here to say thank you to JTN2002 for that $4.99 sub. Thank you for all the support here at Speed Gaming, making sure that we can bring you this fantastic content every day. And a hook shot. Oh my goodness. Hacksaw.
Very good find to have. Very, very good find to have, especially with ice physics, because if you can latch onto a bush in the overworld, suddenly you don't have to worry quite so much about ice physics. Also, yeah. It's a very good stun weapon to have. And JTN, thank you so much again for your sub, dude. We do appreciate the support.
So, Palace of Darkness just gave us full access to Death Mountain. Aside from the floating island, of course, so you do need the Mire for that, but every other location up on Death Mountain is now open to us. We can get into Tower of Hera. Since you have the hammer, we have the hook shot, so we can check out, Hook Shot Cave and get to that east part. Palace of Darkness coming up huge here.
Absolutely. Now, interesting play here. Hacksaw opting to save and quit out of Palace of Darkness.
I think Hacksaw's trying to find a sword. So, probably going to a more item-rich location, hoping that there's something here for him.
Well, he is going to have lots of places to check. Again, remember, having the hammer and having the Titan... Well, actually, no, he doesn't have Titan's Mitts. No, he can't... He doesn't really have that many options.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he didn't go... Yeah, he never went to go check Hobo to get the powder. I stand corrected there.
He'll be able to check, the ones on the light half, and he will be able to check Tower of Hera, but no, he cannot. He can't go in through the Turtle Rock portal. He can't go in through the lower portal, so there'll be no Hookshot Cave and no Super Bunny Cave.
Alright, so looks like Magnon's going to go into Eastern Palace. We'll probably go into Palace of Darkness since we're over here right after completing it. Meanwhile, Smashy and BrewersFan are pretty much synced up for the most part here.
Yeah, you've heard of interdimensional high fives. Now we're going to have some interdimensional hand-holding.
And there's
a
our
mirror!
All right. Looks like BrewersFan is taking the death warp to get back to the beginning of the dungeon a lot quicker. Let's see if Smashy plans to do the same thing. Yeah, there we go.
Indeed he is.
And there's our first bottle.
Red meringue. Let's see, what are we going to get on the other half? Red rupee. Bombs. And just another piece of heart. Good lord, we're creeping up on the 1 hour mark here before much longer. We still don't have a sword.
And with those boots, BrewersFan is going to go check King's Tomb. And there's our half magic.
It's like we're finding everything except a sword.
All right, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask everybody here in chat, where is the first sword going to be? Somebody's saying Pedestal.
Well,
I mean,
there's
got to be a... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. No, you're fine. I was just saying there could be a sword on Pedestal, but it wouldn't be one that we could reach right away. Simply because you need a sword to get in the Misery Mire so that you can use that medallion.
And it looks like Smashy is the only one who's decided to go all the way through Palace of Darkness and go take on Helmasaur here. But we will be able to see if it is in Tower of Hera. We can full clear this dungeon. We have our fire source. We have our hammer so we can take care of Moldorm. Gotta be something here, right?
You would think so.
Just another bee in a bottle.
Thought you couldn't ship animals on the Postal Service. Maybe that's why it's here.
And there's our big key, so we don't have to go to the basement quite yet.
You know, I saw a few people in chat saying that they thought it was going to be in Swamp Palace. I am inclined to agree.
You know what? Swamp Palace is known to at least have a sword. You usually find a sword there than really anywhere else because of how many item locations there are. So that is definitely a possibility. So Smashy going into the Helmasaur fight now. Now, I gotta be honest, I've not been counting items in Palace of Darkness. Would Helmasaur... Do you know if Helmasaur would have an item on him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. I want to say we saw 5 items, but chat's going to have to help me out here a little bit.
And Hacksaw now into their Trolldorm fight here.
Smashy needs to be careful. Oh, God, taking that tail whip to the face. Do you know that stings?
He's gonna go right back to it. You know, I don't blame him. You're already here. I'd hate to have to come back here when you've already cleared out Eastern Palace.
And there goes Trolldorm with the first one. First half score is Hacksaw 0, Trolldorm 1.
And there's our first hit. Our second hit. We just need one more. And revenge will be had.
Oh, and Trolldorm just taunting him. Like, come on over here. I got something for you. There's the kill.
And there's the key for the basement.
Looks like we'll be going down to the penalty box.
All right, so now BrewersFanJP is now the second person up to Death Mountain here. Now he does have the Titan's Mitt, so he will be able to check a few more locations that Hacksaw has not been able to since he did not go get the powder yet from Hobo.
You are absolutely right. Chat also pointing out that Helma Sword does indeed have an item. Brewer's going to be picking up his mirror. He's going to be very happy to have that.
Yep, and meanwhile, Hacksaw being able to take a little bit of a breather, getting some of those invincibility frames in the Tower of Hera basement. So let's see if the salty run back pays off for Smashy here.
I think maybe Hacksaw actually did take a break.
All right. Meanwhile, Smashy's on the second phase of their fight. There we go. And having a little bit better time here. Gotta be a little careful. He's in a really rough spot. Just 2 hearts remaining. And there is the finish.
If he sits still long enough, you can just snipe him down using those Uzi strats. What did he have? I couldn't see.
I could not tell. Oh, it was the sword. Okay, there is our first sword.
That'll be sure enough, yeah.
Tell by that animation there. Awesome. So, guys, it is indeed a non-swordless seed.
Shoutouts to Time Knight Blades who called that.
Yeah, 57 minutes in. Holy cow.
So confirmed, seed not swordless.
So, BrewersFanJP heading into Tower of Hera now as well. Hacksaw deciding to go to the Spiral Cave here. And Smashy on their way up Death Mountain as well.
Now, what'll be interesting, now Smashy does not have his Titan's Mitts either, but Brewers does. So Brewers is going to be able to check pretty much the entirety of Death Mountain.
So let's take a minute here to see what else we need to find here. We need both rods and whatever crystal or whatever medallion is needed for Turtle Rock at this point. And we'll have go modes. We just need to find some rods now.
We do still need to find a Master Sword at some point, but remember that could be located in Ganon's Tower.
And Magnon does set up that death warp there.
Brewer's grabbing a couple hearts before going up to say hi to Trolldorm. Not always a bad decision.
No, and meanwhile, Hacksaw is going to go and get his powder from the hobo, who he can then take to the Bat Cave. We'll see if that's where he decides to go first with that.
Unfortunately, Trolldorm, well, Brewer's finally getting him, but Trolldorm kind of being a little uncooperative there for a bit.
All right. right, and Hacksaw is instead going to go check out the Ice Rod Cave.
Interesting play here, but unfortunately, remember, we've seen it, and there really wasn't anything of value in Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah. You know, I mean, one good thing about coming up here now is he does have the flute, so it makes it a little bit less punishing of a check. So
Very true. And also, it's one of those things, you make a decision, heat of the moment, gambling that there's going to be something good there that you miss. Also, bear in mind, he is still looking for his Titan's Myth, so he's thinking, maybe there was a glove upgrade here I missed.
Yep. And he's going to go and check, looks like a Gina's Cave now. Maybe? Yeah, there we go.
Smashy working his way up Tower of Hera. Magnon is going to, provided he can down Hilmasaur, he's going to get his first sword here in a little bit.
Oh, making good use of the powder. And it's hoping he can get that fairy here. And fairy does not come over the wall, so he's going to go in here with 4.5 hearts. And I mean, as we saw from Smashy's screen, this is a little bit difficult of a fight, especially if you don't have a sword. You know, these fireballs and Helmasaur's tail can hurt quite a bit.
Well, and no silver arrows either, so you really don't have an optimal ranged weapon. One shot to the dome with a silver arrow will bring him down. With wooden arrows, it takes quite a few more.
Yeah, it would take 8 shots. So you gotta hope that he kind of stays still for a moment and doesn't hit you like that. Ugh. Oh, that was really good positioning
Almost.
there. You gotta be really
Be careful.
There
and
we
he
go.
Gets him. Ooh, bit of a nail biter.
Half a heart. And
Hacksaw finally going to get his mitties.
Now, one thing I'm really curious about is I'd be interested to see if Smashy has forgotten about the first portion of Escape. He still only has his Power Glove, and that's where the second glove is.
You know what? I think you're right. I think he may have forgotten about the front part of Escape.
Alright, now Magnon is making their way up Death Mountain here, and BrewersFan is going to find 20 rupees and another sword. There's our second sword, and that was in a Super Bunny Cave.
Alright, so one step closer to the goest of modes.
Well, that's going to be a welcome sight for BrewersFan. It's going to make, I mean, at least the hammer portion, if you're not comfortable with the knockback when you fight Helmasaur, it's going to make that a lot easier.
Silvers! We have the Ganon killers.
Speaking of making Helmasaur easier.
Yeah.
Alright, and we will be getting that floating island check here. We do have the Mire.
Smashy taking his time out in the penalty box.
Very well-deserved time or rest, I should say.
Magnon finding his mirror. Brewers, a bottle.
Alright, so that is, I believe, Brewer's second bottle.
Not a bad find, really. I mean, especially, considering if you want to pick up a couple of potion safeties, sometimes it's nice to have those as a fallback.
See, chat's getting into the spirit here. We got a nice little home here for our holiday festive theme from Rina Kunisaki. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Very well done there. So, the hacksaw showing us on the graveyard ledge, just a heart container. And do we have our first hurdle rock play? What?
This is a bit of a bold move because you're hinging on the fact that there's going to be something in that first chest, either a key or a progression item, because you can only check that spot. You don't have the fire rod. You can't do the torch room.
Oh my goodness. And there's the Cane of Burna, so he is locked out.
Do bear in mind, though, that does open up Spike Cave.
It does. He does have half magic and the Cane of Burna. Ooh, how evil would that be if our Fire Rod was in there? Meanwhile, Magnon, the first one to get their Master Sword.
You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing that. Fire rod, that would be very evil.
And looks like hacksaww maybe heading down toward Eastern Palace. Or Palace of Darkness, I should say. It's hard to tell these overworld teams apart. But no, he is going to go check the catfish here. And BrewersFan likely being the first one into Swamp Palace here.
I am very interested to see what this place holds. Again, has the highest item density outside of Ganon's Tower. And with hammer in hand and the hook shot, it is fully clearable.
Yeah, so Magnon now has everything he needs to take on Ganon now. Master Sword and Silver Arrows.
Well,
It's gotta be a welcoming feeling considering how long they had gone without a sword so far. To be able to find two of the biggest upgrades in the game here.
well, and you gotta bear in mind, they're gonna be glad to find those because Master Sword without silvers is possible on Ganon, but oh, it is not fun. That is reserved for people that are really on the naughty list.
Did we check green pendant? I have not seen a green pendant check. Only Magnon and Smashy have the green pendant, but I have yet to see a check from them.
Brewers delving further into Swamp Palace, while it looks like Smashy's going to be right on his heels. Magnon going... what is he going to be doing on this side? He really can't check Spike Cave, but he hasn't gone into Tower of Hera yet either, so he's going to be making his rounds.
Yeah, looks like he was just wanting to grab the item there that was on top of Spectacle Rock. We'll likely combine that into, Tower of Hera here. So, good decision.
And chat correcting us that it looks like green pendant was just a heart container.
Alrighty. Thank you, chat. I do appreciate it. Sometimes it's hard to be able to watch all 4 screens at once, so I appreciate the backup there.
And JTN, to answer your question... Oh, the Santa suit. Now we're cooking. JTN 2002, to answer your question, it is on life support, but still sort of alive. Brewers opting to check the back half first. A smart play, especially if you don't run into any dungeon items first, like you don't run into a compass or map, because if you complete the entirety of the dungeon without the left side and you don't find one of those items, by process of elimination, they're on the left side of Palace and you don't have to even check those chests.
All right, so we'll see if this gamble paid off. There's the big key. And our first shield. So Brewers fan looks like they're gonna opt to go right on to Argus here.
Still finding a heart, so I don't think we've seen any dungeon items out of Brewers yet.
I believe the first chest on the like when you first enter in the dungeon, not the small key, but the second one, I believe that was the map. So there is still the compass somewhere out there.
Ah, I see. Well then, yeah. So still going to do this, but he's going to have to go back and do a mandatory left side check.
Meanwhile, Hacksaw down in Cave 45 is, I believe, what is referred to in the spoiler log. Just finds 20 rupees. And leaves his chest behind. What?
Uh-oh.
Did he just not
Santa
realize
Claus,
he
you
left
can't be leaving those behind now.
There you go. He just realized he doesn't have the chest with him.
Yeah, you, well, actually, Gary's lunchbox only had a piece of heart in it, right? So,
yeah, what's
I
just
mean,
a piece of heart?
but still, he doesn't know that.
Alright, and we will be able to see what the big chest has here from Smashy. Meanwhile, Brewers fan is in their Argus fight while Magnon is taking a nice little chill out break here in the Tower of Hera basement.
Take a break, grab some coffee. Or some eggnog, you know, 'tis the season.
Not a super huge fan of eggnog.
Everybody knows it's not the eggnog so much as what you put in it that makes it a good beverage.
Yeah, and this is a really painful fight without having any kind of sword. A lot of menuing going back and forth between the hook shot and the hammer in order to deal damage to Argus here, those little Argus puffs. Good news is, though, he does have the silver arrows, so that will one-shot Argus if he's able to connect one of those arrows with him. So,
And that is the trick, because that Argus hitbox is a very tricky thing, although it makes a pretty easy show of it for his side.
yeah, and Smashy showing off the spin strats with the hook shot.
Magnon gonna be making his way down Spiral Cave. Probably not gonna be too thrilled with what he finds down there.
Yeah, we'll
Although it
likely
is a heart.
Yeah, he'll likely combine this into a Dark World check as well. Be able to find, or no, he did check his Dark World. So we'll see where he goes from here.
I swear, if it wasn't for the Charlie Brown music, we would be able to tell when they're in the Dark World, when they're in the Light World. Oh, chat, I love your evil predictions. Yes, I keep them coming. I like what I see. Because we forgot about AGA 1. That's a wrapped item. We don't know what it is.
Oh man, I'm calling Fire Rod behind AGA 1.
Fire Rod on AGA 1, Pedestal required to get the shovel, Ice Rod at Dick Spot.
There we go. That's what it's gonna be. It's got to be that.
Now, after getting Swamp Palace taken care of, where are you thinking about for going next?
Let's see. Going next. That's a very good question.
Well, let's look at the options. Mire wouldn't be the worst play because you do have everything you need to full clear it, and with the mirror, you can route it into Desert Palace. So I would say Mire and Desert in a 1-2 combo probably going to be the play at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. You can full clear both those dungeons at this point. I mean, that's likely the next logical play. And you know, at that point, I want to say you're hoping to find either Bombos or Fire Rod in that location, so you can go and take care of Ice Palace as well. So
Personally, I'm hoping for Bombos. Because
yeah.
then Fire Rod is still possible to be in a trolley location.
Oh, right, and here on the left side, 300, was that 300 or 100 rupees? It was rupees.
It's a lot of money.
So, next piece of the puzzle, not there.
Poor Hacksaw, still swordless.
Oh, geez. I just realized that. And BrewersFan is making the play to the Misery Mire area.
Chloe, what we are hoping for is one of the rods on, actually in dig spot with the shovel on pedestal, and one of the rods being in Lumberjack Cave.
And then booking Ganon's tower, so you can't even check the pedestal.
Oh god, we are so screwed up. It's so wonderful.
Hey, it makes it fun, right?
It's one of those things fun to watch, horrible to play.
And in Checkerboard Cave, just 20 rupees. Smashy about ready to get disappointed in their Bonk Rock location. Something this seed has not shied away from, and that is just the amount of rupees that has been available to these runners.
Somebody definitely asked for money for Christmas. Always the right color, always the right size. Now, Brewers, when he comes out here, I'm guessing he's going to flute back over to 6 and then go in and do the Mire play first and do Desert afterwards.
Yeah, it looks like that may be where he's headed now. Yeah. So we are going to be seeing our first play into Misery Mire. Meanwhile, Smashy looks like they are now activating their flute. And Magnon decided to go and check out the left side here of Swamp Palace while they're in here. Combining it into the rest of the dungeon so they don't have to backtrack through here. And Hacksaw in Swamp Palace here as well.
Oh, Brewers, smash the bird. You know you want to. Yeah, that a boy.
So we got
Show
Bird
that
Smash.
Bird who's boss. I mean, you know, either way you look at it, that's cold.
I see what you did there. All right, and
You know what, them puns, you gotta stay frosty. Anyway, enough bad puns. Back to the race at hand.
Yeah. So, Misery Mire. And there is our Fire Rod.
I am excited and disappointed at the same time.
You know, I'm excited, disappointed as well, but it does give us another location we can go, and that is into Ice Palace.
And Skull Woods, don't forget.
Yeah, that does open up Skull Woods as well, so Misery Mire being the next logical place here. And there's the big key. Will BrewersFan decided to go straight to Art, or wow, I'm getting my bosses mixed up today. Vitreous, but looks like he is not.
That other eyeball thingy.
Yeah, I was wanting to call Argus Cold Stare, and now I'm trying to call Vitreous Argus. Bleh. Yeah, I was too busy watching or thinking about Swamp Palace here.
So now here's a question. If you're brewers, let's say you find 2 items in Misery Mire. Do you go ahead and go down and finish Vitreous, or do you just say, forget this, I'm out of here?
At this point, there's not very many items that they need to complete the seed. I would just leave. I mean,
Yeah,
at this point, the probability of something being on the pedestal is rather slim, especially getting that fire rod. I mean, for all we know, the remaining items could just be internal rock, and you know, yeah, I don't know. There's so many other places to go. I would leave it.
Well, and taking stock of what he needs for go mode, I mean, we know where one of the other swords is, so really all Brewers needs is the ice rod. Oh God, what have we done to chat? Now we have the puns coming in.
Oh boy.
But with the ice pans, you know, I mean, the puns that chat's coming out, they're a pretty chill bunch.
All right, so it is just confirmed. The last item, I believe, is going to be on Vitreous. So we're clearing out Misery Mire anyway.
Your pet dream, it's on life support, but it is still alive.
And both Hacksaw and Magnon taking down their respective bosses here. See, now I'm not wanting to say any boss that looks like an eyeball anymore.
Brewer's getting ready to head down into the pit. Hacksaw gonna run over to the witch. He might be thinking, well, probably go ahead and get some potions, because he knows that not always a bad thing to have going into like Ice Palace or anywhere else.
Yeah, we're getting to the part of the game now where, you know, some of these safeties will come into play. You know, the potions, the powder for these anti-fairies. There's some of the more difficult dungeons in the game, so good choice to go pick up some safety potions there.
I wonder if Smashy finally remembered about the front half of Escape. You think so?
I think so. There's nothing else that he can be doing here. And boy, what do you think will be going through Smashy's head when he picks up his Titan mitts?
I don't think it's going to be so much what's going through his head as what's going to be going through his character when he finds those gloves. How many rage slashes are we thinking about?
I think Smashy might go smash. I don't know.
Alright, and now we've got BrewersFan getting ready to go give a great big hi to one great big eye.
And Hacksaw still has not found a sword. This has got to be very frustrating.
Brewers now saying bye to one great big eye. And finds a sword!
Wow, so there is our third sword. And the cape. Oh, boy.
Well, Kate, that's an interesting find because now Hacksaw could be thinking Aga 1. There's Bumper Cave, which we don't know what's on there, so it's something you probably want to take a little time out to check.
All right, so let's recap. For those who haven't been here, as far as these swords go, it was almost an hour in before we found our first sword, which Smashy found on Helmosaur. We then found a second sword, I believe it was in Super Bunny Cave, and our third sword was on Vitreous. So, unfortunately, Hacksaw has not made their way over to those locations yet.
I'm getting ready to see who stuffed this present up on the shelf. Just bombs. One of those illegal packages.
Yeah, and I just realized Hacksaw's got to find a sword somewhere. He's almost out of locations he can check without being able to use a medallion. And that was the second item in Desert, so it's a cape and a heart piece. So with that fire rod, looks like BrewersFan's going to go right on to Mothula. Now, did we find any items here in Skull Woods?
I think we found one, possibly. I can't remember. Chat, help a couple of old guys out. What did we find in Skull Woods?
Man, doesn't this want to make you like sing along, sing some jingle bells? I love Kakariko Village.
Or as I always pronounce it, see, I can't even talk. This is what being from Kentucky gets you. As I always pronounce it, Kakariko, which I've been told repeatedly is wrong.
Hacksaw is gonna come up here and try to get into Misery Mire, but doesn't have a sword, so he can't use the medallion.
So
Hacksaw has to find a sword now.
He's not going to find one in Desert Palace.
And BrewersFan coming back out of Skull Woods here. I realized I didn't have the key to go forward. Okay.
I need one of those.
And Hacksaw now going, looks like going back toward Pod. Will find their first sword on Helmosaur should they take Helmosaur down. Now, Hacksaw also has not grabbed his silver arrows yet.
Yes, so it could be a very difficult fight. However, he does have red mail and 13 hearts. So, I mean, you got to be feeling pretty good about it. Nothing else you can face tank him down. Brewers making it through the Mummy Hellway.
Gotta be a little bit careful here. He's running out of magic. There we go.
Now, he'll have one more decanter. That'll put him at half magic with half magic, which will be enough to take out the moth.
It's gotta be a little bit careful though. These spikes still do one full heart of damage, so gotta be a little careful he doesn't get hit by spikes here. But making really good use of that fire rod. Only missing a couple of shots there.
Oh, be careful.
Gotta be a little patient here and he'll be able to take out the moth. It's got one more spike.
Oh,
and he
no!
goes down.
Does he have a fairy? Oh,
There we
press
go.
F for fairy.
Wow, I just had one hit left on Mothula.
What was going through Mothula's mind right there? I got him! I got him! Oh.
And that is the big key, so that second item is still being elusive here.
Well, let's see here. Still didn't check the small chest. Probably that's going to be your first thing you want to grab. Yep, which Brewers is going to go do. And then just the big key chest, and that's it.
And Hacksaw is getting close to their Helmosaur fight.
Hacksaw gonna be so happy when he finally kills Helmosaur. Make it 1 hour and 32-ish minutes probably without a sword.
That's rough. I would definitely not want to be in their position right now. This late in the game, not finding a sword. Oh.
Oh, and we have had a couple of forfeits already, so yeah, this seed definitely not being kind to some people.
You know, I have to be honest, I'm quite surprised by the low number of forfeits so far. I think we've only seen 2 so far in this race.
Brewer's gonna run down, check the big chest, and a shovel. Well, good news is we can check dig spot. Bad news, JT, your master shovel dream is dead.
And there's the Helmosaur kill for Hacksaw. Hacksaw is going to get their first sword. We'll see if we get a few celebration swings once he finally gets out of this this cutscene here.
Gonna be very glad to have that. And Angry Mikey, we will check to find out how many runners in total we had. Looks like, by my count, we have 31. Now, it looks like Magnon's going to be going into the back half of Desert. We've got Smashy working his way through Misery Mire.
I wonder if they're thinking this is Pedestal, considering they have all the items they need to access the Pedestal.
They might be making that play.
Now, Hacksaw now finally having his Titan's mitts is going to be able to check the dark world portion of Death Mountain here. It's going to find their second sword. How frustrated would you be if you're in Hacksaw's shoes right now?
Extremely frustrated, to say the least, but you know what? That's rando for you. You never know what you're gonna get. And for those of you calculating your pedestal hype index, it's low. It's very low, but still very much alive.
Yeah, so let's take a look and see what we can actually find on the pedestal here. So far, I mean, Ice Rod can definitely be there. Book could be there that could lead to, you know, Ice Rod or something on one of the tablets.
Don't forget Mushroom.
Yeah, and Mushroom, that's pretty much it. Which, you know, of course, Book and Mushroom would have to lead to the Ice Rod, but that's really it.
Well, again, very low, but still very much alive. Not dead yet. On life support, if you will. And Brewers is going to give us a check on Dig Spot here. We'll see what's going on. Also, don't forget, it not as trolly as a Pedestal Seed, but Aga 1 could still hold the Ice Rod. Just because it could be in Lumberjack Cave.
Yeah,
Just a little love.
Yeah, that would kind of fit into my my dream for the seed, having Aghanim be required, but not knowing it until the very, very end. Because I mean, you can go all the way into Turtle Rock hoping to find that ice rod and never find it.
Get denied, get to Laser Bridge, and be like, uh-oh.
All right, so while Magnon and Smashy are both in Misery Mire, looks like Brewers looks like they're going to go into Palace of Darkness and probably wrap that up here.
Oh, and remember, they didn't kill Helmasaur earlier, so he'll actually have Tempered Sword when he gets done with Helmasaur King. Also of note, that will give him his other red crystal. Fat Fairy will come into play.
Indeed.
I'm sorry, Thick Fairy.
And Hacksaw is going to be opening up Turtle Rock here. Let's see if Hacksaw decides to dip in like BrewersFan did to grab that Cane of Birna.
Oh, yeah, the other cane that we don't talk about nearly as much.
And they will be, so they'll be in their Cane of Birna. Now let's see if they decide to go to Spike Cave afterward.
It would be the first check on Spike Cave. We haven't seen anything else yet.
Now, another thing to note, Smashy did skip out on Vitreous, so no second sword for Smashy yet either.
He'll find it when he gets to Super Bunny Cave, but yep, he's gonna opt not to get that. Remember though, if Pedestal becomes a required thing, then he'll have to find his third sword. Although at that point, it's gonna be pretty late.
Hacksaw using the Cane of Birna to get through those Lionels. Really good use of that item. And they are going straight for Spike Cave here.
Showing off that cane all the way over there.
Another thing to note here, we still haven't had anybody finish this race, so no .duns have come through from any of the racers participating in the seed here.
Yep, still very much an open game.
Now will Spike Cave be the key here?
Cutting it awful close. But he will be okay. And just 20 bucks.
Ouch. Alright. Nothing out of Spike Cave. Now, Magnon is deciding to go to Vitreous, so Magnon will be getting their first, likely be the first runner to get their Tempered Sword.
On his fall, as far as damage output, going up to the Ketchup Claymore really does help. It's the biggest damage increase going from level 2 to level 3.
It is indeed. You can one-shot many of the enemies left in the game. So... Smashy onto Fighter Sword Mothula. One of the more difficult fights in the game. Because I believe it takes 8 sword spins.
Yeah, it's not fun.
That Spike blocking the fire rod shot there. So
don't worry, he has a plan B.
plan B. I see what you did there. B for B. And Magnon taking down Vitreous gets their tempered sword. Finally got that carrot on a stick.
The bacon broadsword has been claimed. The ketchup claymore.
All right. So far, we've heard carrot on a stick, ketchup claymore, bacon broadsword. What does everybody here in chat like to call their tempered sword?
I think my favorite one I've seen is the cinnamon cutlass.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Tabasco Toll War. I like that one too.
Yeah, that is. Is that all the pendants for? Have you got Thieves Town, Misery, Mire?
Yes, it is. We are going to get a pedestal check, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, baby.
I think the ped hype index just went up a little bit. Or maybe not. Come on, chat. Pray harder.
So Hacksaw is now in Misery. Mire is going to be able to pick up their Fire Rod here as well. Should they go on to Vitreous, that will be their third sword in, what, 15 minutes?
Yep. Finally paying interest and getting all of them.
That's got to be frustrating. I would not want to be in their shoes right now, just finding sword after sword after sword.
Now, Magnon's going to find out what is on Bumper Cave. Just a little bit of love.
Now, will we see the Skull Woods into Pedestal check? Oh man, these murder dactyls. Ugh.
They are just murder. Dactyls.
All right, Magnon. We're praying for you. You gotta give us that pedestal check. You got everything you need.
And Ped might be coming off life support little by little. I believe the hype index is up to about a 5.
And Brewers fan about ready to go into their Helmet Sword fight will be the first runner to actually go in there with a Master Sword. So he can actually do sword slashes and spins, but he does have the silver arrows as well. So should make for a fairly easy Helmet Sword King here.
And Magnon opting to take out the Moth first and come back and possibly do the pedestal later. Hacksaw only down to a heart and a half. Gonna have to be really careful here. I'm kind of surprised he... Oh, go ahead.
Let's see, this is the powder, so we can powder some of these fairies here, these anti-fairies. And Brewers fan does take down Helmosaur, be the second of our runners to be on the Tempered Sword. Now, this is a crazy turn of events here. Smashy was the first of our runners to find a sword today, and is now the only runner to be still on a fighter sword.
Oh, but that's rando for you.
That is indeed. So now, Magnon taking care of Mothula here. Hopefully, Mothula will cooperate.
Now, does Magnon have anything for safeties? I mean, he's got the bacon broadsword. That's pretty safe right there, but still.
Yeah, so does take down Mothula, gets his big key, And Crystal, so right now, all that's left for Magnon is Ice Palace and Turtle Rock.
And Pedestal, which we shall... Oh, if there is a god, we will find out soon.
And here it is, the moment of truth. What is
Here
on
we
the
go.
pedestal?
We're up to a 7 or an 8. Oh, everybody, get your pedestal hypes.
And on the pedestal, we have...
Oh, it's killing me.
Oh.
And we have a
piece of
heart.
Oh.
And there we go. That the ped went beyond life support and is now dead.
Yeah, now I do have to say, we do have a runner that has finished the race now. We have our first dot done from ACMLM, who has finished with a time of 1 hour 45 minutes and 19 seconds. Congratulations to ACMLM.
Congratulations, sir, if you're listening in. Very well done. Fits in about with what our expectations on this seed were. We were expecting somebody to finish at about the 145 mark and be our first place finisher. Now, Brewers is going to give us a check on Fat Fairy, but is also going to run over to the side of the pyramid real quick, pick up a package.
All right, so Smashy finds his book. So
now we could still have something in a very crazy, out-of-the-way location. We could still have something on one of the tablets. We could still have, AGA1 still be required, so don't count it out just yet.
all right, so this just in. Smashy, one of our featured runners here on the top right, has unfortunately forfeited the race. Commented needs to get some sleep. So, GG Smashy. Great race so far. It was so much fun watching you race. Hope to see you again back in here to continue on with some more races and GG, sir.
Indeed, we salute you, Smashy. GG.
All right. So moving on here. At this point, looks like the next logical step is going to be Ice Palace.
With the Fire Rod in tow, definitely a solid play to make. You don't really have Bombos, but if you do have a couple of safety potions and half magic, this is definitely a solid play to make.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
if
the
you
good
just...
news... I'm sorry, go ahead.
All you.
I was saying, the good news is that even if you don't find anything here in Ice Palace, the only item we need now for Go Mode is indeed the Ice Rod, which can very well be in Turtle Rock. It's been notorious for being on that laser bridge, so...
Well, also, don't forget, going through Ice Palace here, if you happen to find it in the first chest, suddenly IP becomes a very fast go mode, especially if you are comfortable with the Ice Palace bomb jump. Considered by many to be one of the gateway tricks into getting good times in Rando.
So, Magnon, not too far on the heels of BrewersFan. We'll see what this first chest has. Let's have a little bit of difficulty there. Alright, it's just 50 rupees, so there's item number 1 down. Now, there are 3 items here in Ice Palace, so still 2 more to find. Could be the Ice Rod.
Hacksaw making quick work of Mothula. Well, it was quick, and now those spikes are coming into play, unfortunately. But red suit and lots of hearts, so I expect this will go down. And it does.
Good fight there from Hacksaw.
Zombie, to answer your question, Brian Kane was the first chest in Turtle Rock. And it looks like we will see Brewers setting up the Ice Palace bomb jump here. It's kind of an interesting trick to set up. There are several ways you can do it. You can either try to line it up horizontally. Vertically, you have a little bit room to line up with, but horizontally, it is a pixel perfect jump.
And Magnon, fully expecting to full clear Ice Palace, is going to skip out on that bomb jump. Now, if you go through an Ice Palace and you're expecting to full clear the dungeon, not doing the bomb jump is actually a bit quicker. Now, for anybody tuning in, I keep seeing, you know, what happened with Smashy. Smashy, unfortunately, had to go to sleep, so Smashy did, you know, forfeit the race. So as of right now, the remaining of 3 featured racers, you know, we're continuing on with them. So.
Well, and again, it's certainly not a bad performance from Smashy at all. Just, you know, it's late, you get exhausted, and this seed has certainly not been an easy seed by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh no, definitely not.
And Brewers opting to go straight down to Cold Stare, going to get right to the heart of the matter.
All right, so it looks like we are going to be getting another racer on here to be part of our featured racers here. Looks like we're getting TGH set up here, who is indeed in Ganon's tower.
Here we go, right to the end, folks.
So the remaining items will still be a mystery to us. So.
And you will not have to worry about, you can still put in your GT guesses because, good lord, we don't know where it is.
Exactly. And Cold Stare just had a heart container.
So now the question becomes, if you're Brewers, do you take a gamble that there's nothing of value here since you found 2 items? Or do you try to go back through and clear the dungeon and not leave something behind?
That's a really tough decision. He looks like he's going to go back in and clear out what he didn't get.
Well, because, you know, what if that item is indeed the ice rod? Although you could definitely make a case for either position. You know,
Yeah,
only 1 item left to go. I mean, you know, you certainly could not be faulted for skipping out on it.
Oh no, definitely not. I mean, plus checking the remainder of Ice Palace sure beats having to go all the way up Death Mountain to go into Turtle Rock to full clear it to find out maybe the ice rod isn't here, to then have to come back into Ice Palace and back up to Turtle Rock. It's a lot quicker to just knock this out and, you know, be entirely sure of, you know, that this item is either here or not. So.
Well, the nice thing is, as soon as he finds that item, whatever it is, wherever it is, he can peace out of here and move right on. And look at that! Ice Rod!
There we go. Magnon is in go mode. Our first runner in go mode here, aside from TGH, of the, I guess, the original featured runners here, first one to be in go mode.
Sorry,
1 hour,
TGH,
53
we love
minutes
you.
in.
You don't count, dude. Sorry. We love you, but you don't count. Now, interesting here, though, Brewers, he has the ice rod. That was the ice rod, right?
That was indeed the ice rod. Now, I don't think Brewer went and checked that location.
Oh wait, yeah, because that's right. You are absolutely right. So Brewers doesn't know that it's down there yet. Magnon is the one who full cleared it and is going to go down and do his Cold Stare fight now.
And looks like TGH is looking for another sword, hoping not to have to take care of Ganon on just Master Sword with silvers. But we do see here that his entire inventory is filled out, so he's been able to find the remainder of the items here. So.
Yes, TGH definitely stacked. Does have the Master Sword though, so unless they're tried to hover, but
Attempts to hover, doesn't quite get it. We'll see if he decides to try it again.
silly TGH, you can't fly.
And there we go. We get the hover.
Looks like TGH only has the Master Sword, so that is going to be a not a impossible Ganon fight. Certainly a difficult one, though, and one that you definitely want to spend some time practicing.
All right, so he gets into his Aga 3 fight here. Meanwhile, Magnon having some difficulty with those dead rocks there.
Such a trolly little enemy.
Nice.
Very
triple
nice
there to finish it
triple.
off.
TGH certainly a top tier runner, so yes, very much respect to him.
Yeah, and still the only person who's finished this race so far is ACMLM. Nobody is not done yet, so we will likely get a chance to see the second place finisher right here.
Looks like Magnon now going to be heading back to Turtle Rock. He has the stuff he needs.
And unfortunately, even if you go mode Turtle Rock, it's still going to be rather long unless you can get lucky with some small keys. It's pretty much the same dungeon in go mode, aside from checking Mimic Cave and like I said, if you can get a few lucky small keys, you can completely skip out on the laser bridge as well. So. And TGH having a really good Ganon fight so far.
Yes, very excellent display of using the Master Sword on TGH's screen.
And unfortunately, we don't know if TGH has any safeties, but it doesn't look like he's going to need them.
Unfortunately, missing the spin, so Ganon will get that fire bat off.
Oh, and he is punishing him now with the teleports. Magnon getting his cane of Brian.
However, Magnon, since he hasn't been here yet, is going to be able to check the other rooms. He's not going to have to dip out at this point.
And just like that, we are in Phase 4. TGH getting that torch glitch. There's our second hit on Ganon there. There's number 3.
And this is going to be all she wrote. So it looks like TGH will be finishing up with an official SRL time of 1:58.58. And folks, that is a second place time. And Pika Pal's right behind him, third place finish, with a time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 20 seconds. So not a lot of sub 2 hour times in this scene.
All right. So we'll get a chance here to talk to TGH about the seed here. Meanwhile, we do have Magnon and BrewersFan both in Turtle Rock right now.
Again, both these runners in go mode, so they will be going through here pretty quickly. But like you said earlier, Turtle Rock, not a huge difference when you're in go mode, although you will skip Mimic Chest, you will skip a few other things depending on how lucky you get with those small key placements.
All right, so let's go ahead and get TGH on in here. Hello, TGH. Congratulations.
Good game, TGH.
Thanks. That was an experience.
Yeah, unfortunately, we missed the majority of your seed here. We only caught you right at the end as you were going up Ganon's tower. So we still don't even know where the big key was.
It was Bob's chest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Bob's chest, and I don't know what was on right side. I just went straight left and got it. But yeah, the rest of the seed was for me was not good at all. Like, I don't know. Routing was bad. Or routing was okay. I just like did things in the wrong order, I guess. I didn't get mitts until really late. I gambled Turtle Rock and Dark Death Mountain for Ice Rod as opposed to going to Ice in hopes to go mode Ice. So that didn't work out. I had to double dip TR. I don't think I don't know. I was just like, and it happened too that like any wrong routing decisions were just really punished by the overworld being so slow. It was I guess it was fun in the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
question.
I do need to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. One thing I did want to ask with TGH, how long did you go before you found your first sword? A lot of our featured runners here went almost an hour before finding one.
My first sword was Helma. My only other sword was the Super Bunny Cave on Dark Death Mountain. But yeah, it was a long time. I think it was like 50 or so minutes. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, the only other sword that we've seen now is there was the a third sword on Vitreous.
Oh, was there? Nice.
So
I
that was the
chose to
other...
not fight Vitreous. Like, I found Fire Rod and cleared the rest of Mire, but I did not fight Vitreous.
Okay.
Looking like Magnon going to be working his way into Trinex. This will be the last bit he needs, and then it'll be off to Ganon's tower.
So I also need to ask, what are your thoughts on this festive mode with everything having ice physics?
It's a great concept. The actual act of playing is another story. It's like, I don't know.
Something I want to...
The whole world is Ice Palace, basically. Just like, I don't know, ice physics in general. I don't think the problem is the mode itself. I think the problem is ice physics in general. If it were not ice physics, I would have really enjoyed this, like, an awful lot.
Something that Chad has brought up a couple of times, the idea of having the overworld items as boxes, as presents or whatever, is this something you think we could see in the future? Just as a way to kind of disguise items and force players to actually make more choices, as far as, you know, what if there's that item on Bumper Cave that's going to be valuable, but you won't know what it is until you actually pick it up?
See, I went through the whole seed thinking that there might be something in the Lumberjack Cave that I didn't know. Like, in that aspect, I think it's, I don't know. Of course, there are positives and negatives, but, like, I just, I'm just reading the credits now for the sorry if I'm distracted, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the concept of that just because, like, you're not gonna fight Aghanim-1 to get the item in Lumberjack Cave if you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, unless you clear out the whole game first, unless you wanted to pull off a ridiculous gamble of some sort. I think for me personally, and the way I play, like, I'm probably not the best person to ask, just because I'm more of a safe-ish player than anything else, so it wouldn't really be something that I would enjoy personally.
Awesome. Well, meanwhile, we do have our first of our featured racers here. I mean, aside from you, unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see when you entered in Ganon's tower, but we do have Magnon now in Ganon's tower, deciding to go to the right side first and get grabbed.
Wallmaster trolling you since 1986.
And Brewers Fan right behind them, while Hacksaw is in Turtle Rock.
Now, something else I want to ask you, TGH. Now, you got a second place time. I mean, we're just now seeing fourth and fifth come in at 2 hours 2 minutes and 2 hours 3 minutes. Did you feel behind during this seed? You know.
Very much so. Yeah, pretty much the whole time. But yeah, ACM's a beast. I mean, I can't believe I got second. To be honest with you, second by like 14 minutes or something stupid like that. But yeah, that was honestly, I think any time you make a gamble that doesn't work out, you have to think you're behind. And I made several that didn't work out this seed.
Well, again, only 3 runners finishing with a sub-2 time. I think Kyle LPN just came in with a 6th place time of about 2 hours and 5 minutes. So yes, I definitely could see a bit of frustration. What would you chalk most of it up to with these higher times? Do you think it's the ice physics, or what do you think is the main attribute for a lot of these high run times?
I don't think the seed itself was that bad. I think it was just the ice physics and the fact that like I said earlier, like the fact that any routing decision that doesn't work out, you pay for in double with the way the overworld is. You know, it's just like it's just really difficult to navigate, especially without boots. Even with boots, it's difficult and it's not fast. It's just like your speed is basically halved with boots.
Yeah, I think with boots, it's pretty much close to walking speed, just about.
Yeah, I think it's a little faster, but it's still not even close to like how boot speed should be, or how boot speed normally is off ice, I should say.
Yeah.
So if you route at all inefficiently, you just pay for it that much more.
Alright, so it's really interesting. It looks like BrewersFan decided to go full left side first, whereas Magnon did right side and is now on their way back left. So BrewersFan actually now taking a lead over Magnon here.
So, and TGH, you said it was in Bob's chest. That's where the big key was?
Yep. I'm interested to know where the last sword was. You said there was one on Vitreous, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
on Vitreous. We still don't know where sword 4 was.
Yeah, the ones we know: Vitreous, Super Bunny Cave, and Helmosaur. So,
I think a few of the only locations I didn't do in the overworld were Spike Cave and I don't think I ended up doing Agana.
yeah, I believe both locations had a piece of heart.
Okay.
TGH, did you check Mimic Cave?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there was nothing there. I checked Mimic Cave because I was looking for ice rods still.
I don't know where that last sword could be. Alright, so in the
Anybody
meantime...
fight Lamola?
Lamola, yeah, the Magnon actually went and did a pedestal pull.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about that. I was thinking that ice rod could be there, but...
We were rooting hard for one.
Yeah, so he did the pedestal pull. He took care of Lamola. I think it was a heart piece on the pedestal as well. So
maybe it just didn't exist.
maybe, unless it was behind Ice Armos.
Ganon's Tower, big chest.
Oh, that'd be awful.
Very possible. Because I checked all the chests except for Validation on the way up GT.
But yeah, in the meantime, we did have a couple more finishers here. In 7th place, there's D2 Kemps with a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 21 seconds. Evanitis finished in 8th place with 2 hours, 8 minutes, 38 seconds. So these dot duns are just trickling in right now. A lot of people appear to be having a little bit more difficulty with this, likely with those ice physics, like you had mentioned.
True.
It looks like Magnon and Brewers are pretty well synced up on the gauntlet. So yes, we're gonna have a very good race coming up here. It's gonna come down to execution.
Yeah, and Magnon actually just overtook BrewersFan here from that first room. And they are once again synced right back up. Wow. This will be a good good finish here.
Yeah, they are literally neck and neck, and they keep passing each other. So yes, this is definitely going to be a good finish.
This last ice room giving both these guys a little bit of trouble. They got to be used to it, kind of. This entire seat's been on ice.
You'd think they'd be good on ice physics by now.
If nothing else, this kind of helps a little bit with ice physics, but not a ton.
Unfortunately, Brewer's not getting any kills on that first cycle.
Yeah, he's having a rough lane wall too. So he's going to get on the third cycle here, barring some sort of disaster. And Hacksaw is checking the right side of Ganon's tower before going left as well, so... Very nice Wizrobe room there from BrewersFan. Meanwhile, Magnon lighting these torches here.
Still could be anybody's race out of these guys. All it takes is one fall again, and then you're in a world of hurt, and your opponent's going to take right over.
Magnon almost getting knocked down in that torch room.
Looks like they're getting close to syncing back up. Magnon getting those fairies, getting that final bit of safety before Trolldorm 2. Oh no! And there's a fall. Not a Ganon fall, but it's enough.
Ooh! BrewersFan, give me a heart attack here, man. Alright. He avoids the fall, and just like that, there's another lead swing here in Ganon's tower. And in the validation chest, it is indeed a heart container, so that fourth sword still being elusive.
Yes, I would be very interested to see where that fourth sword was.
Man, the lead swings here in Ganon's tower, and you know, Hacksaw's not too terribly far behind them.
Unfortunately, not getting any hits on the first round for Aga.
It's a really good setup. Oh, dang. All right.
Just like that, they're back neck and neck. Meanwhile, Magnon getting, is that a double?
I don't know, but Brewers just got a triple here.
Ooh, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, this is tight.
Oh, so close there. It's coming right down to the wire.
Oh, they are literally neck and neck right now.
I think that was a single there for Brewers, and that's it for Magnon. Magnon's going
on there. Brewer's right behind him, only a couple seconds.
Wow, okay. And Hacksaw, looks like they went full right, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to be grabbing their... Or no, did they go full right?
Yep, everything
I don't
except
know, but they
Tyler.
got their big key, so they're up their way through Ganon's tower. Oh man, this is going to be a nail biter to see who finishes here. Get our Ganon music.
And Ganon's version of Jingle Bells. Ganon Bells. We have Weighty Words coming in 9th place with a time of 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 24 seconds. Magnon taking a slight edge going into Phase 2 Ganon. Or Phase 3 Ganon, rather.
And Brewers fan, using that potion that he got earlier, make sure he's safe for this last phase here.
Not quite enough sword hits. Oh, he'll be in Phase 3 here in a moment. Advantage definitely goes to Magnon here, but you know what? A fall could change everything.
Indeed, and just like that, we are in the last phase here for Ganon. Making sure to get that torch glitch and likely get a double here. And we could see this finish with another double.
One more.
I'm just going to play it safe and finish up this last hit here.
And there we go.
Magnon has finished.
And at Cyclone, yes, we know it was that, but the Ganon quote was Ganon's version of Jingle Bells. Love the Christmas references. And Magnon looks like he will finish in 11th place. And Brewer's going to be right behind him at 12th. Looks like Chex Human finished 10th with a time of 2 hours, 16 minutes, 57 seconds. Magnon17 is taking 11th with 2:17:05, and Brewers Fan 12th right behind him at 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 23 seconds. Let's see if we can get those boys in here for an interview, because I definitely want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, 18 seconds apart. What a race.
I mean, what a nail biter, coming right down to it. Very exciting photo finish. Oh, Hacksaw, press F for fairy.
Unfortunate, but at least I have a little bit more health going through the remainder of Ganon's tower here, so...
Hacksaw coming up not too far behind. Needing to get that last bit of magic. Oh, but blocked by the door. That's a rough bit of luck right there. Has just enough magic to eke it out, though. And I am told that we will be joined by Mag and Brewers here in a little bit. Meanwhile, send all your good vibes to Hacksaw. Let's cheer him on while he finishes up. Still in excellent positioning on this race. Like I said, this has been a very punishing seed for all of our players. And Yanni, man, well, it's Christmas, so we decided to have some Christmas references. All right, we have Brewers in the waiting room. Let's get him on in here. Brewers, good game, man. Very well run.
Thank you.
So, how are you feeling?
Not too bad actually. I did have some really head-smashing moments when I made some stupid mistakes, but I mean overall, looking at how people have been finishing, this seemed to be a pretty tough seed.
Yeah, only 3 people finishing under a 2-hour mark, so yeah, it was a very punishing seed, but you played very, very well. We have Magnon coming in too, so I'm going to grab him and bring him down here. We're going to interview you guys together because, boy, you guys were right next to each other.
Yeah, 18 seconds apart.
Magnon, good game, dude. Very well played.
Good game.
Thank you.
So I asked Brewers, and I'm going to ask you now. How do you feel?
I feel like I did pretty good. I did better than I thought I was going to, honestly. I definitely figured a lot more people had finished by the time I did.
Yeah, this was definitely a difficult seed. Now, one thing I need to ask, and that would be, you know, what are your thoughts about how late you found swords in this seed?
That was tough. I mean, if you saw me probably going through Mini Moldorm Cave, I had too many issues there.
Yeah,
I'm used to that at this point. I think like 50% of my seeds I don't get a sword until about an hour in, so it doesn't even bother me anymore.
well, that's good.
I think it was odd that I did end up with tempered. How many people got tempered or gold?
We have yet to see a gold sword. Now Hacksaw, the other racer here, he is still on Master Sword, so he's doing Master Sword silvers. Did not go to Vitreous.
Yeah, that was actually funny, me going to Vitreous, because I completely blanked on Mire being a pendant. But it ended up, I think I ended up doing it either way because I had silvers at that point. So Vitreous wasn't a big time waste.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. I went there. I went to Vitreous to try to get the second item because I skipped the vanilla big key location.
Yep, I did the same.
And to be honest, I was planning on blind pulling the pedestal.
Yeah, you're the only one that we've seen here that actually did clear out all the pendant dungeons and pulled that pedestal. So
I was praying for it to be Ice Rod, honestly.
yeah, that's what we were hoping for. We were hoping for Ice Rod or an even more trolly book that could lead to the Ice Rod, but fortunately it was just a piece of heart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I was actually starting to think about Aghanim, going to clear him since I didn't know what his item was until I pulled that Ice Rod. And then I knew go mode and I just went from there.
Yeah, I was very rapidly running out of places to check.
Yeah, so another question I want to ask is I want to kind of get your opinion on this festive event that they're doing with the ice physics everywhere. You know, all the items that are out in the open world being, you know, gift boxes. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually like the items being gift boxes or hidden in general. I feel like it keeps you from having to go check locations and waste the time for them to be nothing at the beginning, and then you just have to check them later just in case.
I
Not to
kind of...
cut. sorry, not to cut you off. We have Hacksaw finishing at 15th place with 2 hours, 24 minutes, 32 seconds on the time. So good game to him. Again, sorry to cut you off. Please, we definitely want to get your thoughts.
I thought, like, overall it was nice to see the boxes because it meant that people they'd have to take more chances to get them. At the same time, though, in my routing, it definitely played with my mind because there were a couple times I probably could have shaved some seconds off if I just had remembered that I couldn't see the item either way. And then, it was kind of a give and take. I couldn't use boots as much on the overworld. I think sliding all the over affected me in dungeons a little bit. But at the same time, you have things like I could walk on the water, which cut some seconds off of me going to Ice Rod Cave and Hobo and Zora.
Yeah, the walking on the water was nice. I wish that something had been up at Zora just to make it worth it.
And we're going to grab Hacksaw down here. He is in the waiting room, and then I want to ask all three of you guys this question at the same time. So 1 second, let's get him in here. Hacksaw, good game, dude. Very well played. All right, so we'll get your thoughts, but I have a question I want to ask all three of you right here since I've got you all together. Given the timing on the seed, did you guys feel behind while you were playing? I mean, did you guys feel like, oh no, I'm going to finish just low tier, this is going horribly? What were your thoughts as the seed wore on?
I was definitely convinced that I was getting, lower and lower in that tier. When I found the Ice Rod as late as I did, I was convinced I was going to be at the bottom.
I was definitely thinking I was behind the whole time. I'm still somewhat new at this, so that's in general. And then when I saw ACMLM finish first, I figured, okay, here comes the wave of people finishing, and we didn't get that. It took another 13 minutes before somebody finished, and that really surprised me. I think I actually got into go mode before the second place finished, which was kind of nice, so I didn't feel as far behind. I mean, overall, I think I've finished in the top half, which is really good for me. So I did feel behind as I was going, and I guess I was surprised where I did finish up.
Well, and Hacksaw, what about you, man? I mean, how did you feel going throughout this scene? Did you feel behind? Did you ever feel like you were just behind the curve and fighting an uphill battle? I mean, what were your thoughts as the scene wore on?
Yeah, I knew I was behind the whole time. I need to get out of that habit of checking everything in Overworld when everything's in dungeons.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, all three of you did a fantastic job finishing within the top 50% of all the racers here. So I mean, really, really great job here.
And bear in mind, only 3 people finished sub 2 hours. So I mean, everybody here did a very good job running that seed. We've already asked everybody else to Hacksaw, how did you feel about the ice physics, and then the fact that you didn't know what was in Lumberjack Cave, you didn't know what was in, you didn't know what was on Bumper Cave Ledge. How did you feel with the aspects for this scene?
That made things a little bit interesting because I'm sure everybody probably, if they got the item to do Lumberjack, or not Lumberjack, but Bumper Cave, and you're there's no reason to not go grab it really quick because you don't know what it is. It could be progression, it could be junk, so you might as well get it. As far as Lumberjack goes, I mean, you have to hope that it's not there.
It's about the same as seeing medallion or mushroom or something like that on Lumberjack.
Or key sanity and you see a key up there.
Except now, instead of just a few items, it's every one of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can be anything. So, I mean, if FAQ is required, you go grab it. If FAQ is not required, you just hope that there's nothing there. And if there is, probably everybody's going to pay for it. So,
I would actually like to see a a version of the randomizer where all of the overworld items are hidden like that, just in general.
Yeah, it does make it a lot more interesting, and it does change up routing a little bit. And I mean, you just have to go get those items because you can't go check and go, oh, I don't need that. I feel like it evens the playing field a little bit too, because you get the real high-end runners. They're like, oh, that's a piece of heart. I don't need that. But then you get, the lower runners that aren't as good. They're like, oh, a piece of heart. I can really use that. So they'll take a little extra time to go get it. And now both players are going to get it, so there's really no time lost going to grab that piece of heart.
Speaking of piece of hearts, I got a quick question. Was this like generally a low health seed for a lot of people?
No, I had plenty of health.
I skipped out on Sashlahar at the start, so I missed out on 3 hearts there. But yeah, I finished with like 17 hearts.
Okay, because I had 12 hearts going into GT. I think I finished with 15 because I got a lot in the chests, but yeah, it was kind of strange. I mean, I had red mail, which helped, but that was a little strange at my end too.
Just from a top-down perspective, from a commentator booth, it did seem like it wasn't a health poor seed, but it wasn't. You didn't have just heart containers everywhere either. It seemed pretty middle of the road. Big thing was everybody finding that blue mail so early. Seemed to give you guys a whole lot of survivability in that case. So I mean, that's not the sickest seed, but not the healthiest either.
Okay, fair enough.
The blue mail messed it all up though, because I was running the Santa Sprite. You start out with green, you should go right to red, but well, we had blue for a while.
Actually, it was kind of the opposite with my character, because I ran with Will, and since he got the blue mail early, he went green, and then when he got the red mail, he went red, so it kind of helped with this festivity.
Nice.
That's pretty awesome.
So, time for the elephant in the room. Swordless for so long, and we've kind of gotten some feedback on that. How did you guys feel about going so long without a sword?
Well, if I had actually finished pod while I was there the first time, thinking, oh yeah, I don't have a sword, I'll just come back when I have one, things would have been a lot better, because when I went over to Mire and couldn't open it because I didn't have a sword, and then the fire rod ended up being there, yeah. But other than that, swordless is not that big of a deal.
I mean, for me, beyond Mini Moldorm Cave, I think it wasn't that big of a problem. Especially since we got the hammer so early.
I was happy to see the Cane of Samaria in Thieves Town, so I could use it on blind.
Yeah, I think everybody, of all the 4 racers that we had here, everybody did make use of that Cane of Samaria. And I think, can't remember which one of you actually used both the hammer and the cane. I think it was Magnon.
No, I didn't use the hammer.
No.
I tried hammer and Samaria on blind. I died, and since it was a pendant, I left after my first step.
That's right. Okay. I was gonna say, I know I saw somebody using both the hammer and the cane, which was kind of cool to see. So.
I had a panic attack because I got down to, I think, just a piece of heart on that fight.
Yeah, I think he finished that one with a half a heart.
So I see 2 people with fire sword. Where did I miss a sword at?
The third sword was on Vitreous, actually.
Knew I should have kept going.
Oh, and we still don't know where the 4th sword is. Chat speculating that it was in Lumberjack Cave, which is a very strong possibility.
Did anybody check Laser Bridge?
Yeah, I did all Laser Bridge. It wasn't there.
I just did the first chest, saw the key, and went on.
Could have been the mushroom.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't think anybody did. Well, Magno, did you do a mushroom check or no?
No, I got the mushroom in Ganon's tower.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, it could have been mushroom too. Although I thought we saw in the credits, I don't think it was there though. But
Fair point.
Honestly, who knows? I was just watching it, and it's all starting to run together, so I can imagine how you guys feel.
But I think with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and get everything wrapped up here. Any final comments, regarding the seed, regarding the race, to each of you three?
GG's to everybody that played, and thanks Speed Gaming for hosting us, and follows the other three guys. They're all good.
Yeah, same for all the other guys. I'm going to be looking forward to watching this back. It's going to be one of my first chances to really compare myself against a bunch of other runners at once. And I'd say if you're into this, into the randomizer, give the festival, the holiday randomizer a chance. I might run this one or two more times. I definitely don't want to run this all the time, but it was definitely good to run once.
It was definitely interesting. A lot of mechanics that I wouldn't mind seeing implemented elsewhere, but definitely not all the time.
All right. Well, once again, GG to each of you guys, finishing, top 50%. With that, I'm gonna get out of here, and Jaxus, I'll leave you with the final words.
All right, just a couple quick things. Everybody that's watching, viewers, we appreciate all the support, all the subscriptions. Thank you for making this possible. We really appreciate the opportunity to be able to bring these races to you. As was said, give all of these runners a follow. They absolutely deserve it. Magnon17, BrewersFanJP, Hacksaw, TGH. Also, don't forget Smashy, who unfortunately had to quit early. It's just, sometimes that just wears on you. But yes, give these guys a follow. Shout outs to our trackers. Our trackers were Zombie Twitch and Renubris. Thank you so much. That is definitely not an easy job to do, so thank you to you guys for doing that. Shout outs to my fellow commentator Echos for helping to make this enjoyable run to call. I know I certainly had fun. I can't wait to do it again. That being said, we are going to sign off of here. We do have a couple of races coming up tomorrow. We have an open that's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That has not been determined what channel it'll be on yet. It will be commentated by Wolflink and Mally. And then at 8 p.m., we're going to have our final race before we enter into Christmas. That is going to be a Key Sanity with an Enemizer. Bosses will be randomized. It will also be hard mode, so that will definitely be one to watch. If you get a break from the Christmas festivities, definitely give that a follow. That'll be commentated by Dr. Bobtastic and Dark Falls. That being said, if this is going to be the last time we get to see you, have a happy holidays. We appreciate you tuning in. This has been Jaxus. I have enjoyed seeing you all, and I'm sure I will see a lot of you down the road. Y'all take care, and have a good night.
Happy holidays, everybody.